Welcome to this hour's news bulletin from Arzu Television. Today is Friday, 24th of December 2010. This is me, Arzu Salimi, with the news in details. Former United Nations envoy for Afghanistan has suggested for changing of Afghan war tactics. Stephen de Mistura has said that Afghan war is not winnable, neither for Afghan and international forces and nor for Taliban fighters. De Mistura, in a letter to the United Nations Security Council, has said that political move is the possible way to end war in Afghanistan. He added that military efforts are baseless. After almost a decade war in Afghanistan, UN says political agreements are the only solution in the country. Insurgents, government, international forces, and other parties involved in Afghanistan know that Afghanistan will not be stabilized through war. Recent statements from UN Special Envoy for Afghanistan, Stephen de Mistura. Mr. de Mistura, submitting a report to the United Nations Security Council, said all the Taliban are not confessing, but they know that war is not the way to succeed in Afghanistan, adding a political solution is the only way out of the crisis in the country. Mr. de Mistura further added UN supports Afghan government efforts towards peace and reconciliation with the Taliban. It seems that at the same time as military activities are increasing against insurgents in South, insurgents are trying to catch people by surprise and carry out attacks in areas where there are no expectations for such activities. Based on a report from UN Special Envoy to UN Security Council, security incidents in the country in the past 3 months show an increase of 66%. In this report, Parliamentary Elections Day is called Violence Peak in Afghanistan. UN expressed concerns over the 20% increase in civilian casualties in the country in the past 10 months. Based on UN statistics, 2,400 civilians killed and 3,800 others injured in 2010 alone. UN accuses the insurgents of 75% of civilian casualties in the country. U.S. Vice President Joe Biden says the United States will leave Afghanistan without considering the situation down in this country. But the U.S. Ambassador to Kabul, Carl Eikenberry, has said the U.S. will leave Afghanistan with regard to the situation down in this country. U.S. Ambassador to Kabul said today U.S. and its allies will start withdrawing from Afghanistan in upcoming year, but the entire withdrawal will depend on the situation in Afghanistan. The international community is not yet committed to tackle financial corruption in the country. Head of High Office for Monitoring Implementation of Anti-Corruption Strategy, Mohammad Yasin Usmani, says there are still no transparencies in supply contracts and foreign institution projects in the country. Usmani also said existing of old system and bureaucracy in governmental administrations is the main sources of corruption in the country. His report. Corruption, the biggest challenge in Afghan government, something the international society calls it the main reason for weakening the Afghan government and cause for continuation of violence in the country. Efforts by the international society to eliminate corruption, but the question arises, how far is the international society committed to do so? Head of Anti-Corruption Office for Implementation of Strategy, Mohammad Yasin Usmani, says despite so much pressures, the international society is not seriously up to elimination of corruption in the country. There is still no transparency in international foundations projects in Afghanistan, Usmani added. Head of Anti-Corruption Department said old and bureaucratic systems are of increased corruption causes. Mr. Usmani also reported on efforts underway to simplify administrative procedures and protocols and said anti-corruption branches will be established in several provinces of the country shortly. Afghan authorities say the international society is not committed enough to eliminate corruption in the country at a time when Afghanistan is amongst those countries top the list for corruption. This is followed shortly after U.S. Special Investigator in the construction field in Afghanistan reported millions of U.S. dollars are gone waste in the country. A suicide attacker blew himself up in Kunduz province, killing a police officer. Provincial governor spokesman says the attack also left 5 others wounded, including 2 children. The suicide attacker attempted to carry out the attack inside a police checkpoint. No group claimed responsibility for the attack so far. 5 ANA forces were killed and wounded in a mine blast in Balabuluk district of Farah province. The incident took place today morning as a Ranger-type vehicle hit a roadside mine in that district. Northern Zone police authorities reported to have discovered and defused an explosive arsenal inside a car in Baghlan province. 303 Pamir Police Headquarters spokesman says the car packed with explosive arsenals was discovered from a residential house in Baghlan province. Police also reported detaining a suspected man in charge of the case. And that's all. Thanks for watching. Have a good day ahead.